and or welcome back to my channel. I'm Hannah Blackwell, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some book recommendations for post-apocalyptic and or apocalyptic books. And some of these I have read, some of these are on my TBR. I've kind of been on a kick recently, really enjoying post-apocalyptic or apocalyptic books. I was thinking today, I was planning on doing a completely different video, and it was involving fantasy romance, and it was a video that I'm still planning on doing. I'm not in a fantasy romance mood right now, so it's just not what I want to talk about. I know that this is kind of a grim subject, especially considering the state of our world right now. Kind of scary, but at the same time, I kind of have fun diving into these extreme scenarios that are in a lot of ways very unrealistic, though sometimes a little bit realistic, but a lot of ways unrealistic, and it almost takes the pressure off of real world risks and scenarios, if that makes sense. And I've just kind of been diving into them and really enjoying myself. Some of these are romance, some are sci-fi, some are like zombie, some are kind of like a mix. And so I think it's a really good mix that I have going on here on this list. I'm excited to share it with you. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you do so. All of my social media is linked down below in the description, including my Goodreads, Instagram, my Patreon. If you're interested in joining on there, we do have a book club and lots of fun stuff over there. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up my Goodreads. I didn't even prepare for this video, to be honest. I pulled some stuff off of my shelf, some books that I've enjoyed, some books that I want to read, but I do have a lot of ebooks that I've read too that I want to talk about, so I just kind of have to scroll through my Goodreads real quick here. I think I'm going to bump around here for you guys, so sometimes I like to keep like subgenres separate, but I'm just going to go all over the place. So the first book I'm talking about is going to be a romance, and that is Last Light by Claire Kent. I really like this book. It's like a prequel full-length novel to her Haven series. I have not read the Haven series yet. I think there's at least 4 or 5 books in it, and I believe that they are novellas. But Last Light was really fun, really cool. So this is a post-apocalyptic book. So basically the world has destructed itself. I think that I can't remember if it was a solar flare or a war. I can't remember. No, you know what I think it was? A meteor. I think that's what it was. It was a meteor. Anyway, it caused a whole slew of after effects, and so we're following this heroine, and she's fairly young, and she is kind of like making her way through. I can't remember where she's trying to get to. She's trying to get to somewhere, and she has a motorcycle that she's using, and this dude she thinks is trying to take it. And this is where she runs into the hero. He's not actually trying to take it. He's just kind of like investigating what's going on. And the two end up teaming up. She's not trusting him at first, but he's like someone that she knew from her town. I think he was like a mechanic, so she knew who he was. But as she's learned in this post-apocalyptic landscape, you really can't trust people, and you never know if someone's going to try to steal from you or assault you or whatnot. So definitely check out the trigger warnings for this book. But she doesn't know if she can trust him right away, but she quickly realizes that she can, and the two have this romance and are kind of going on this mission together, this road trip kind of thing, and are helping protect each other, and it's really sweet. It's really cool. I find it really interesting. I love these type of books, so obviously, like, if you don't like these kind of books, like, I don't know why you're watching this video, but if you like these kind of books, I think, and you also like romances, definitely check this one out. I thought it was really good. It was kind of like the first, I think that was the first post-apocalyptic romance that I've read. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it was. So next I want to talk about a book that I have like very conflicting thoughts about. I know a lot of people adore this book. I know a lot of people hate this book. I think I gave it like a 3-star rating because I just wasn't sure how to feel. It's very slow paced. Let me just tell you, obviously, what the book is. That is The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. So yeah, I have very conflicting opinions on this. I may need to reread it. I don't know. Okay, but it's slow paced. It's definitely a character study. Okay, so just when you're going into it, know it's going to be kind of weird. A character study, slow paced. You have this family. And we have this girl, she's been adopted by this gay couple, and they are on vacation at this cabin near, I think there's like a lake or something. And this man walks up to the girl when she's playing outside and says, "Hey, I need to talk to your parents. And I really need you to be on my side when I talk to them, because what we're going to talk about is really important, and it's going to involve them making some really crucial decisions that will impact whether or not the world survives and whether or not humanity makes it through." And that's weird, obviously. Like, that's a really weird scenario. And it goes from there, and his group of people come and they go and talk to the parents inside and basically give them some information and say, like, you have to make this crucial decision. The fate of the world is in your hands. I'm not going to say anything else beyond that because I feel like anything else is kind of a spoiler. But yeah, that's kind of the scenario. Like I said, I give this 3 stars. I found it to be slow paced. It's not very long, but it's just, I guess it wasn't like as exciting as I thought it would be. It's definitely weird. Usually I like the weird character studies, so I'm not really sure why it didn't hit all the way for me, but I want to recommend it because it could hit for you. I know a lot of people love this book, have given it 5, 6 stars. It's been made into a major motion picture now, so clearly a lot of love for this book, and I felt like it would be not cool if I didn't include it, and especially because I do have mixed feelings and I'm almost tempted to reread it just to try to figure out my feelings. So clearly it stuck with me a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you're ready for something slow-paced but weird, then this might be a good one for you to check out. Another book that was actually on my favorites of the year for 2023, this was How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu. This is a short story compilation where all of the stories are tied in together. So there's connections between these characters of these short stories. But each one is its own story. And it starts with the melting permafrost, and there's these scientists studying the melting permafrost in the Arctic to see if any like bacteria or diseases kind of escape. And they discover this disease that escapes from the melting permafrost. And it goes from there, and then we kind of watch as this plague kind of takes its course and how it affects humanity over generations. So we're not just watching one time period, like this is a generational story, and we get to see how it affects the world way, way in the future, like hundreds of years. And there's definitely some really hard stories to read in here. Just a heads up, the second story in this, I almost had to put this book down and not finish it because it was that hard to read. Check the trigger warnings. It's very, very sad at times. But if you are in a good headspace and you want to read something like that, then obviously check it out. If you're not ready still after the events of 2020, then maybe wait. But this was just so impressive to me. I thought the writing was beautiful. I thought the stories and the way they intertwined was so interesting. The stories themselves I found really fascinating. And it just really hit hard, and it really made an impact on me. So another series that's made an impact on me, I'm actually reading the 3rd book in the series right now, is the Black Winter novel, or the Black Winter series by Darcy Coates. There are 4 books in this series. The first one is Voices in the Snow, and this is about a woman who wakes up. First you see kind of like she's trying to get to her sister's house because she's been told like that there's this big danger and she needs to get there. But then she like wakes up at this mansion in the forest with this man, and she doesn't know who this man is, and she cannot remember how she got there. And then strange things start happening. It's a horror, like it definitely starts out horror-esque, and it's like a horror suspense with the romance elements, but like a more like, I would say, like a post-apocalyptic. And the thing is too, okay, fast forward if you're worried about spoilers, because I'm not sure if this is a spoiler, so I'll put on the screen potential spoiler, but this is a zombie book, and I don't think, like, I think that's well known, but I don't know if that's a spoiler or not. Like, it depends. I knew it was before going into it because it was just a well-known thing about the book, at least in the booktube circles that I was watching at the time. But it doesn't say that on the back of the book, so yeah. Anyway, so this is more of like a zombie type post-apocalyptic book. So if you're into that, definitely check this one out. There's also romance in it. I've adored it. I definitely recommend checking out the series. I'm really enjoying it, having a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing it all wrap up. I'm almost done with the third book. I'll probably even finish it today. Okay, let's go ahead and get into some of the books that I am looking forward to picking up. Okay, the first one is another horror book, and this is a zombie book by Mira Grant, who is the pen name for Shauna Maguire. When Shauna Maguire writes horror books, they put them under the Mira Grant pen name, and this is Feed. So I have this out from the library. I really want to check this out. The cover looks fairly terrifying, actually, but I really liked Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant, and I think this is a series too. This might just be a duology though. But the back says the year was 2014. We had cured cancer. We had beaten the common cold, but in doing so, we had created something new, something terrible that no one could stop. The infection spread, a virus blocks taking over bodies and minds with one unstoppable command: feed. I guess this infection is called like the Rising. I really like Mira Grant. See, no, is this 3? Oh, this is 3 books because inside it says read the entire trilogy. Okay, so it's a trilogy. So yeah, zombie apocalypse. I love, there's something I love about a zombie apocalypse because to me that's just so ridiculous that it's like so not gonna happen. I love a zombie book, so I am looking forward to this one. I hope I get to it while I still have the library copy, otherwise I'm gonna have to like renew it. So we'll have to see. I also just bought this book by Justin Cronin. It's called The Ferryman. So this is like a sci-fi post-apocalyptic book about, let me see. So there's this archipelago and it's called Prospera. And it lies hidden from the horrors of a deteriorating outside world. It's an island paradise, and the citizens enjoy long lives, but once their physical and psychological well-being falls below 10%, they retire themselves. And they hop on a boat, and they're taken by Proctor Bennett, who is the ferryman. And he shepherds people through the retirement process, and when necessary, enforces it. Oh, so he ferries them to this island called the Nursery, where failing bodies are renewed, their memories are wiped clean, and they are ready to restart life afresh. That sounds terrifying. That sounds absolutely terrifying. So much more of like a sci-fi, utopian, dystopian type of post-apocalyptic scenario. Because like they think the outside world is destroyed, or we know it's destroyed. I'm not sure which it is. But sounds interesting. So next I have Nettie Okorafor's Who Fears Death. I've heard amazing things about this book. I've heard you definitely want to check the trigger warnings, especially for like sexual assault. But it's in a post-apocalyptic Africa. The world has changed ways. The world has changed in many ways. Yet in one region, genocide between tribes still bloodies the land. So there's this woman who has been assaulted, sexually assaulted, and she gives birth to an angry baby girl with hair and skin the color of sand. And she names her daughter who fears death in her language, or in an ancient language. Her name is Anwe, but it means who fears death. It looks like her daughter has magic. Someone is trying to kill her, and it looks like her journey. That sounds very, very interesting, unique. It doesn't sound like any other post-apocalyptic book I've ever heard of. And Nnedi Okorafor, I read Binti and enjoyed it. She's a beautiful writer, and I really want to read more from her. And finally, I have Goliath by Tochi Anibushi. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. That's the author of Riot Baby, which I've also heard really good things about. But this is basically about Earth in 2050, and basically people have been leaving for a long time now to inhabit other colonies in space, but there's just kind of like what's left of humanity on Earth, and it's basically a post-apocalyptic kind of world. They've basically been left, and a lot of their buildings and resources have been shuttled off into space, and it's just kind of like the remnants of society. From what I know, there's like a lot of violence and just crumbling societal structures. So I would imagine that there's not as much like policing and rule of law. So it follows multiple different characters, I guess, going through different kinds of journeys. And I'm not sure if they all connect or not, but I'm interested to find out. I also have this one from the library, so I need to kind of get to it sooner than later. I also have a lot of other books also on my TBR that I do want to get to, but I'd be very interested to know what apocalyptic or post-apocalyptic books that you think I would really like, or that you could recommend to everyone else in the comment section. I'm always looking for more. This is a genre that I've quickly realized that I really like a lot and I want to read more from. If you don't have anything else to say, go ahead and leave me a zombie emoji in the comment section and click the like button. It really helps my channel grow. Until next time, fellow readers, keep reading and living your best life.
You try to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away, but I've known you too long. It hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.